Okay, so the point I was trying to make that, education in Ambedkar's view, again, would be not only for the sake of education alone, but that would also be a mechanism through which the psychological dimension of untouchability possibly could be addressed. So this is how Ambedkar would look at as far as his approach to address the problems of untouchability in Indian society would be concerned. But the point I made earlier that in Ambedkar's view, this can be done only by a leader from among the community. So, of course, at this specific issue, Ambedkar would be at difference with a leader like Gandhi, for instance, right? So, wherein Gandhi possibly would have faith in the goodness of the human heart, wherein he would emphasize, or wherein he would highlight that change of heart can bring about change in approach and attitude towards the members of the depressed classes. And that is where Gandhi would appeal to every member of the upper caste or to the higher castes, that they should consider it their responsibility, that how the discriminations attached to the caste system in India can be addressed. So that's where, as I told you, Ambedkar would differ, because in his understanding, Gandhi possibly could not realize or would not realize the psychological in, of, impact of caste oppression, because Gandhi himself had never experienced that feeling. So, in his understanding, only a person who had experienced that feeling, right? The feeling of having faced repression in the name of caste, the feeling of having faced humiliation in the name of caste. So only that person can understand that how actually it feels like to be a member of to be a member of the depressed caste, and that is where he would place a lot of emphasis on a member of the depressed caste only to become the leader of the depressed classes, right? The term he would use would be depressed classes, right? This has some larger implication that we will see, and especially in Ambedkar's approach towards politics, right? That's what brings us to the next issue that we intend discussing. Ambedkar's approach towards politics. So first, we have tried to understand that how Ambedkar is trying to look at the problem, right? Look at the problem, and his sociological explanations with respect to caste, and the way he would explain caste and the related issues that I would come to later. But the next issue, related to Ambedkar's approach to politics is important primarily because the point I made earlier, that in his understanding, it is through the means of political empowerment that the changes can be brought about in the society. And that is what would be the most effective mechanism or means, through which the members of the depressed classes would achieve equality in the society. Now that is something I would come to. That is something which is the next topic of our discussion, right? So do you have any question or any issue what we have discussed thus far? Okay, no questions, huh?
Sir,
Uh,
so I want to know the difference of approaches between Gandhi and the Ambedkar
hmm, hmm,
in bringing changes in the society.
hmm, hmm.
So what were the means through which they means Ambedkar and Gandhi was trying to bring changes in the society, especially Ambedkar was trying through the political empowerment was a means to bring changes in the society, and Gandhi was focusing on the self change of the people through their upliftment of the hearts.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay,
is there any other method?
No, there is definitely, right. See, there are two things that we need to understand. One is the whole approach towards religion and the Hindu caste system. Now, as far as Gandhi was concerned, right, Gandhi was certainly very much concerned with the discriminations attached to the caste structure of the Indian society. But somewhere Gandhi believed that the Varna system itself was not bad thing as far as Hinduism was concerned. See, please try to understand, right? What Gandhi was concerned with the discrimination attached to the caste system and the caste hierarchy which prevailed in Indian society, right? But certainly Gandhi was looking at that as far as Hinduism is concerned. Hinduism in a way provides some means of social stratification and which is to be understood as the existence of the Varna system. So there should be equality in the society, but at the same time, Gandhi would understand that this equality could be achieved by bringing about changes in the heart of the people. So what actually was required, that the problems pertaining to society has to be addressed within the social realm, right? So social sphere can address the problem of society. So there is not a requirement for political intervention. So politics and society, they are, for Gandhi, in my understanding, they are to be understood in a manner that, politics would rather complicate the matter and not solve the problems of the society. So as far as the problem of untouchability was concerned, so that was the problem of Hindu society, right? So it was not an issue wherein state and politics was supposed to intervene and state and politics was supposed to bring about changes. So that is one. Second thing, the point I was trying to make, that in the whole aspect, whole understanding of religion itself, right? So as we would see, as as okay, as you would see, right, we'll come to view on religion as well, right?
Sir,
Uh-huh.
Sir, Gandhi advocated that in our country, religion could not be separated from politics.
Mm-hmm. See, please try to understand why he says religion should not be separated from politics. Certainly, when Gandhi says religion should not be separated from politics, Gandhi says that politics has to be conducted with its integral relationship with ethics, right? So Gandhi understands that if politics, happens as per dharma, then certainly politics is our dharma. So that is it is in that respect and it is in that aspect that Gandhi emphasizes that politics and religion, they cannot be separated, right? So the dharma, meaning that as far as politics is concerned, politics should uphold the values of dharma, what our dharma is, right? So that is something which we have to keep in mind. So here in Gandhi is not emphasizing that religion the way one understands that a specific religious denominations in which people are divided, that could be used for the purpose of promoting political interests. So it is not in this sense that Gandhi meant the integral relationship of politics and religion. But for Gandhi, religion is dharma, your dharma, and that dharma is truth, right? That dharma is non-violence. That dharma is peace. So it is in that aspect that Gandhi understood that it is the ethical aspect of religion which should be integral to politics. Is that clear? But
Yes,
as far as that's politics dharma and politics with dharma, वो धर्म है. ये धर्म नहीं है जो अलग अलग डिनोमिनेशंस में लोगों को जो डिवाइडेड समझा जाता है, दैट की पीपल क्रिश्चियनिटी को आप यूज करें, इस्लाम को यूज करें पॉलिटिकल मोबिलाइजेशन के लिए या स्पेसिफिक रिलीजियस एस्पेक्ट को. तो बट एज फार एज अंबेडकर का मानना था, जो रिलीजन पे हम समझने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, अगेन दैट इज आल्सो लिंक्ड टू द क्वेश्चन which is which is showing at my screen, that Ambedkar's view on religion and Indian culture, right? See, there would be a kind of change that we will see as far as Ambedkar is concerned in terms of his approach towards Hinduism. Now, certainly Ambedkar had, belief and faith in religion, right? But, as far as Ambedkar's understanding of Hinduism was concerned, in his understanding, there were two problems with Hinduism. And that is where he would claim, and that would happen, first towards 1935 and 36, right? So 1935 and 36, where there would be a large conference in Mahad, where Ambedkar was supposed to renounce Hinduism, and he was supposed to discard Hinduism with a large number of people, but that does not happen. And why it would not happen, that we would come to in subsequent discussions, that what was the larger context in which it could not it could not become possible. But again, towards the end of his life, that happens in 1956, and the year when Ambedkar would pass away, right? So that is where Ambedkar would declare, rather he had declared earlier that he would not die as a Hindu. But that is where after comparing different religions, he would declare his faith in Buddhism, primarily because he understood that the two problems of Hinduism were not there in Buddhism. One, that inherent inequality that had become the dominant feature of Hinduism in Ambedkar's understanding, right? And second, the existence of the priestly class, right? The existence of the hereditary priestly class. So in his understanding, the whole problem in Hinduism was primarily due to the role that was played by the hereditary priestly class. This would be something which would be absent in Buddhism, in Ambedkar's understanding. Please keep in mind that Ambedkar makes it very clear that it was very much an Indian religion, right? So that is where, as far as the belief or faith in Indian culture would be concerned, that is something which one cannot that is something one cannot rule out altogether, right? That is something one cannot rule out altogether, that as far as the overall composite culture of India was concerned. So Ambedkar would not be rejecting the cultural values that India would represent, right? So that is one you have to keep in mind. So what Ambedkar would discard, what Ambedkar would reject, what Ambedkar would criticize is the discriminatory aspect of one specific religion, not culture as a whole. So we have to distinguish between culture and religion, right? So there is someone who is throwing a question that what was his views on religion and how Ambedkar would view Indian culture, right? So that is something we have to be clear, and that's where